Nottingham Forest go to Anfield and beat Liverpool. Wayne Rooney's Plymouth are the first team to beat Sunderland this season, and Blackburn Rovers second. Hello guys, and welcome back to yet another roundup of the Premier League and Championship Saturday action. We did this last time and you guys really enjoyed it, so we're here to react to the Premier League and Championship scores from the weekend so far. As always guys, get your thoughts down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts if you went to any of these games. Share your thoughts on the game, the performance, the result, and what it means for the table, which is starting to take shape now. Make sure to drop a like as well. We'll go for 1,900. It takes 2 seconds, so please make sure to drop a like. And if you've not already subscribed, join the 75,000 of us that are already subscribed. Get involved, and thank you once again for your brilliant support. With all of that said, let's talk about the Premier League and Championship results. So then we start at St Mary's, where it was Southampton 0, Manchester United 3 in the Premier League. We said it was a big game for both. There was pressure on both after poor starts. Southampton, yes, they've just come up, but they've lost some games which we considered to be winnable. And Manchester United, look, they've only picked up 1 win from 3. They'd lost 3-0 to Liverpool. It wasn't a great start. And it's Manchester United who have got their next win now. A really, really good result for them. 3-0 away at St Mary's. It wasn't necessarily straightforward. Southampton did miss a penalty early on in this game. Cameron Archer had his penalty saved by Onana. And Manchester United with 2 goals before half-time with De Ligt and Rashford. Then there was a red card for Stevens at the back for Southampton. And Manchester United wrapped it up with Garnacho's goal. So a massive big win for Manchester United. It gets them moving up the table. It lifts a little bit of pressure off Ten Hag, but be under no illusions, they've beaten a very poor Southampton. And I don't mean to say that in a horrible way, but I just think Southampton have been really poor, and the pressure is on Russell Martin to do something fast. 4 defeats in 4 for them, a good win for Manchester United. The next game, Brighton versus Ipswich. Now, without having seen the highlights yet, I can only react to the scoreline, but as well as that, we can look at the stats and the attack momentum from this game, where it does look like Brighton did have the lion's share of it. Look, that's to be expected. I did predict Brighton to win this game, but fair play to Ipswich. They've taken a draw from a very, very good team. It's the worst result of Brighton's season so far because they picked up 2 wins and a draw away at Arsenal. And this is definitely 2 points dropped against a team newly promoted at home. Credit to Ipswich, great result for them. Really gets them moving now. 2 points in 2 games, considering as well their first 2 games were Man City and Liverpool. Great result for Ipswich. I'm happy for them. As for Brighton, definitely a missed opportunity. But look, this is what happens. It's an opportunity missed because of missed opportunities. Next up, Crystal Palace 2, Leicester 2. Another point for a newly promoted team, but it really should have been the first win for any of the newly promoted teams because Leicester City were 2-0 up in this game. Jamie Vardy, the old master, scored, and then Mavididi made it 2, 1 minute into the second half. But an immediate reply through Mateta set this up for a grandstand finish. He scored 1 minute after Mavididi, and then right at the end, Palace have piled forwards and snatched a draw with Mateta, making it 2-2, and still 2 teams winless after 4 games each. Look, it gets them moving on to their second point of the season. It's frustrating for both because I thought Palace might snatch it, so it's a missed opportunity in the sense that for them it was a winnable game, but for Leicester to have been 2-0 up and not won, I think both sides will walk away a little bit frustrated. Maybe Palace the slightly happier, having rescued a point, but it keeps them moving a little bit, but still no wins for some of these teams down at the bottom. Next up, Fulham 1, West Ham 1, and it's another late equaliser here. Fulham looked to have done really well in the first half here, played some good stuff. Jimenez scores on 24 minutes, but West Ham snatched a point here in the 95th minute through Danny Ings. So it's a decent point for West Ham now. It's 4 points for them for the season. All 4 of them have come away from home. As for Fulham, they're up to 5 points now, up to 11th place. It's just frustrating that they couldn't have turned this into maximum points. Probably, once again, it's an opportunity missed because of missed opportunities. So credit to West Ham for digging in deep and getting a point. Fulham kicking themselves, but there's definitely positive signs. Next up then, Liverpool 0, Nottingham Forest 1. What a result this is. Now, Forest fans that watch the channel know that I do have a soft spot for Forest. I've really enjoyed their journey. I think they've climatised well in the Premier League, but even I did not expect this. I think I predicted Liverpool to win 3-1, so sorry to the Forest fans. You deserve a big round of applause from myself, and I was wrong, absolutely. I mean, what a result this is for Forest. I would go as far as to say this is the best result for Forest since they've come back to the Premier League, because they have beaten some of the big teams at home, especially in that first season. But I think this is the first time they've gone away to one of the real big title challengers and won. I think they won away at Chelsea last season, but that's not the same as this. Really, really good win, and it was a masterclass from Nuno. As you can see, looking at the stats here, Liverpool had the lion's share, and remember how good Liverpool have been. They've won every game, they've not conceded a goal. Well, now they have. They've lost and they conceded, of course. Callum Hudson-Odoi scoring on 72 minutes. What a win for Forest. A real frustration for Liverpool. It just kind of shows that it's not maybe going to be as straightforward as some of them thought it might be this season, given that Arne Slot's made it look so easy. But there you go, a real reality check, and what a win for Forest. Honestly, the sky is the limit now, because that win really does change things. I already thought they'd probably be mid-table, but with wins like that, that can take you one step further. So Forest fans, share your thoughts. What a win. The final game we'll talk about in the Premier League from the 3pms is Man City 2, Brentford 1, which is what Sophie predicted. Johan Visa puts Brentford 1-0 up inside the first few seconds, which is incredible. And Erling Haaland coming back for Man City to score twice and for them to get the win. Look, I've got Erling Haaland in my fantasy team, and I think if you don't at this point, there's something wrong with you, because the numbers he's putting up are unbelievable. Yes, Manchester City's attention now turns to the Champions League next week, but more importantly, the court case with the 115 charges. But in the meantime, keep winning your games, and in best case scenario, nothing comes of the charges and they get away with it and they go on to win the league again. But either way, they've just got to make sure they're doing their business on the pitch. Fair play to Brentford for taking part in what was a decent match, but Man City powering on with a 2-1 win. Let's move on to the Championship. So, first of all, we do need to mention last night, the Friday night, we did see Sheffield United getting a 2-0 win away at Hull City. It means that Hull City are winless from 5 games, 3 points for them, not great. Sheffield United looking really good, and Gustavo Hamer, so good, and Sam McCallum got the other goal, really impressive there. So Sheffield United flying. In the 12:30s on the Saturday, we had Leeds versus Burnley, which was a real clash of the Titans for the Championship, and it's Burnley who have walked away with 3 points. Koleosho's goal on 18 minutes being enough to see this over the line. There was a red card right at the end for Humphreys, but that came in the 94th minute. By that point, I think the game was done and dusted. Frustrating for Leeds looking at this, because it looks like they played quite well, but Burnley have shown that they can just about manage these numbers. Do you know what I mean? They've been really good at snatching what they can and taking their chances when they come and riding out a bit of pressure as well. So really impressive, because not many teams go to Ellen Road and win. I think only a couple did last season. So it might have only been about 2 last season, maybe 3. But they're the first team to do it this year in the league. Leeds 0, Burnley 1. Look, for Leeds, it's not the end of the world, but frustrating, because it would have been a great game to win against a team that I think they will be competing with. Great win for Burnley though. Millwall 0, Luton 1. Great result for Luton. They are up and running now. Mengi's goal on 10 minutes, enough to win this one. I thought it would be a cagey game. I thought it would be a close game. I predicted 1-1, and in a way I was close, because Luton got the goal and Millwall did push towards the end. But not good enough from Millwall in the end. They didn't do enough to merit a draw. Luton Town get their first win. It's a really big win for Luton, for confidence, and also to lift some of the pressure off Rob Edwards, who I don't think many fans are calling for his head, but ultimately there is expectation, so he's got to start winning soon. And there you go, great win for Luton, 1-0, and that's a platform for them to go off. And then the final 12:30 game saw Oxford United beating Stoke. Frustrating for Stoke. They've been so hit and miss so far this season, but I did think Oxford would win this game, and yeah, I got it right. Fair play to Oxford. They look a real force at the Kassam in particular, where they just keep winning and don't concede goals. So they've conceded 1 against Preston, and that's in 4 home games in all competitions, and 4 wins out of 4 at home. Honestly, 9 points from 5 is very, very good. This is a very good platform for Oxford. If they just keep this good start going for a bit longer, then I don't think many people would think that they could drop down the table as bad as they would have to be to get sucked into it. So just keep this going, and then who knows, maybe they can start looking up the table, and that's where they are right now. Oxford United currently 7th, so great results. Next up then, and we have Blackburn 3, Bristol City 0. Blackburn Rovers are absolutely flying. They are 2nd in the Championship now, and let's start with them. It's a great win. Honestly, we're all starting to look a bit foolish, those of us that wrote Blackburn off, especially when we thought Sammy Smodics is going to go, which he has done, and they've looked so good. So credit to Ahashi and Travis for getting the goals, but a lot of the credit has to go to John Eustace. He's doing so well, and on the balance of looking at the stats here, they did deserve this. Bristol City, it's frustrating now because that's back-to-back 3-0 away defeats against teams that they thought they might have got something against, but maybe not Blackburn, who are doing really well now. But yeah, Bristol City maybe need a home game now to get themselves moving again, because these last 2 away games have been really shocking. Great result for Blackburn though, and 2nd in the table. Blackburn fans, share your thoughts. How high could you get to? Next up, Derby 1, Cardiff 0. Derby doing the business here with Gujman's goal coming on 28 minutes. I think I predicted Derby 1-0, so I'm pretty pleased with this. Cardiff, really poor, really poor. They've got to start turning it around because they're getting left behind, and there's only so many teams that they could drag into the relegation sandwich. At the same time, we're only 5 games in, so it is still relatively early, but so far so good for Oxford and Derby, who have both won 3 out of 3 at home. You know, Derby really good now and looking a real force here. If you look at them in the table, they're 8th. So credit needs to go to Paul Warne, who was coming under a lot of pressure. Good win for Derby, and they're finding a way, aren't they? Next up, Middlesbrough 1, Preston 1. We've got a 1-1 draw here. One that I think will be a better point for Preston. It's a decent result to bounce back from after that poor result against Oxford going into the international break. They had to come from behind here with Frosker Jensen getting the equaliser. Middlesbrough took the lead through Conway, and Middlesbrough looked like they might have been the team pushing for the winner a bit more in the second half. But now it just leaves Middlesbrough in a funny position where they're currently 10th. They've had a decent start, but any more of these results and it just sucks them away from where they need to be. Look, if we're going to talk about bad starts, Luton and Coventry have had worse starts, but Middlesbrough fans will be frustrated that this couldn't have been 3 points. As for Preston, decent point away from home, coming from behind. And look at this. Wow. Plymouth 3, Sunderland 2. For both of the Plymouth, Argyle and Sunderland fans, this is a feeling they've not tasted so far this season. For Plymouth fans, it's their first league win, and what a win against Sunderland. And for Sunderland, of course, their first defeat, and what a crazy game this was. Sunderland 1-0 up through Roberts' penalty in the first half. On the balance of that, it looks like Sunderland did play quite well in the first half, looking at what I've got in front of me. It's an own goal from Ballard to get Plymouth back into the game, and then Hardy scores a penalty for Plymouth with 15 minutes to go. They're 2-1 up. And then you get a late goal for Sunderland to make it 2-2 on 86 minutes through Monday. And you're thinking, oh, okay, Sunderland is still a draw. They're moving forwards. But no, this is real character shown from Plymouth Argyle with this winner coming through Edwards on 93 minutes. And this is a massive result now. Look, for Sunderland, it's really frustrating, but I don't think it's the end of the world. For Plymouth, though, it is massive. And it really shows the character that they need, because we've seen teams that a lot of us expected to maybe be down there in Derby and Oxford having really good starts, and they backed that up this week. So it was really imperative that Plymouth got that first win soon, and now 5 points from 5. They're not looking like one of the worst 3 teams so far, and I really hope they keep this up. Makes things interesting. Great win for Plymouth. Argyle fans, share your thoughts. For the Sunderland fans that might be watching this, travelling back from Devon right now, look, commiserations, but as I say, I think this is a great start that you're still going to carry on with when you get back to the Stadium of Light. But look, on this occasion, Plymouth found a way. Next up, we go to Sheffield Wednesday versus QPR, which I was expecting to be talking about a 0-0 draw, and then it all happened at the end. The stats suggest that Sheffield Wednesday maybe had slightly more in this one. It's very close, actually. They had more possession, more big chances, but ultimately it was until the 93rd minute we had to wait for something to happen. Barry Bannon scored for Sheffield Wednesday, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, it's a late winner for Sheffield Wednesday. And even though there was 5 minutes added, QPR equalised in the 6th minute through Lloyd, and QPR come out of here with a draw, which I think I predicted 1-1 actually. So decent point for QPR, considering it was all nearly lost in the last minute here. For Sheffield Wednesday, really frustrating, isn't it? Because at one moment you think, okay, a draw, and then, oh, we've won. So now the draw doesn't taste so good because you had that feeling of winning. So yeah, really frustrating for Wednesday, considering they've not won a league game since the opening day. It just builds that frustration. But I think we're seeing good enough signs that they will get another win soon. As for QPR, look, it's a decent point, all things considered. Swansea 1, Norwich 0. The only goal came on 4 minutes. It was an own goal for Norwich, and Swansea get a good win. It moves Swansea into mid-table now. In fact, Swansea are now 11th, and they've overtaken Norwich, who are 15th. So decent result for Swansea. Looks like there wasn't actually a lot going on in this game. Expected goals for Swansea 0.4, Norwich 1.2. Not an awful amount of big chances. It looks like it was a pretty cagey game, and Swansea just did enough. So credit to them. For Norwich, it's really frustrating because you thought that win against Coventry was the start of something good, and it's been taken away now. Maybe the international break came at the worst time possible for the Norwich fans, but credit to Swansea, a good win, and maybe doing a bit better than I thought they would, so credit to them. And then the final game is the game I live streamed, Watford versus Coventry. It's a 1-1 draw, which is also what I predicted. Look, it's difficult, isn't it? I think the position we were in coming into this game, myself and Sophie were relatively happy with a draw. That said though, we took the lead and we had plenty of chances in this game to go and get a second. I think ultimately I'm probably slightly more positive than I am negative. I'm trying to be a bit more happy this time round. The fight was there. Coventry looked a lot better than they did against Norwich. We came out attacking this game, and like I say, the biggest frustration is we couldn't get a second, and 1-0 is always a fragile score, especially against a good team like Watford, who found a way back into it. And then going into the final stages, anyone could have won it. I think a draw may be fair, but maybe Coventry, with what we did in the first half, could have won by more. Well, could have won. I say could have won by more. We didn't win. Look, it's a draw. We take it. We're mid-table. As for Watford, nice little point onto their collection. 10 points from 5, 2 points per game. So far, so good for Watford now, who are currently 4th. Share your thoughts if you went to this game. I thought it was a decent game, and look, I'm trying to be positive. A point is better than none, but kind of shows where we've got to. So then, guys, that wraps up the action from the Premier League and Championship on the Saturday and Friday night. Of course, there's going to be games going on Saturday night and on Sunday, so we'll try and catch up with some of that over the next couple of days. If you've enjoyed the video, please do make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Definitely share your thoughts if you went to any of these games. And like I say, we will be back with Champions League predictions tomorrow. We've got Carabao Cup predictions coming on Monday, so there's a lot going on. Get involved. Thank you once again for your support. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Peace out.